Okay, this is going to be a short video of my first and only compound bow, which I purchased in the early 1990s, and it is the Jennings Forked Lightning, which is right there. Now, I purchased this with the anticipation of getting more into archery because that was something that had interested me for a long time. But I didn't. When I was growing up, I really didn't have the resources for that. There were no bow and arrow shooting clubs or anything near me that I was aware of. Nothing in school. So I basically just bided my time, and when I got old enough and when I had resources to burn and when I had time to burn and when I was looking for new things to get into, I went ahead and made the purchase of this particular compound bow. Alright, let me see if I can get this straight. Okay, now this bow is a compound bow, and it is one of the, I guess, old styles because I've looked at some of the newer ones recently and they are a lot smaller. The limbs are really short compared to this particular one, and they seem to have almost a recurve to them compared to the limbs on this particular model. Now, on this one, the draw length is 30 inches and the peak weight is 65 pounds. So this isn't an overly powerful compound bow, but I would say that as far as being an introductory bow, it was perfect for me. I did reach a certain level of proficiency with this. I wouldn't dare call myself anywhere being an expert at it, but as with all things, the more you do something, the better you become at it. And for a good, call it 2.5 years, I did quite a bit of shooting, quite a bit of reading and learning and experimenting, and I became, I would say, decent at it. Once again, I would never call myself an expert at it, but I don't think I would have been a total embarrassment to myself if I were to actually meet up with some very good people who were shooters at that time. But I guess one of the reasons why I kind of, you can hear the illegal four-wheelers or quad riders going by again. It's really annoying. But okay, the quad riders, they just totally threw my train of thought off, so I had to regroup, even go back and look at the video to see what I was talking about at the time of the interruption. But as I was saying, that one of the reasons why I kind of gotten out of this was back in those days, I could go near the big airport near me, which had a lot of open space around it and behind it, and it was easy for me to just go back there, set up my target, and fire away to my heart's content. But after the couple wars, you had the Persian Gulf War, then in '93, I think it was, you had the bombings or the bombing of the World Trade Center. There was an increase in security around those times, and it just didn't look good. Matter of fact, I was actually approached by some security personnel asking me what I was doing back there with the bow and all that stuff. And so after that, that kind of just discouraged me from continuing the process. And I kind of just stopped cold turkey, and that was pretty much it. But as in all things, we live in a cyclical life and world, and once again, this is back on my radar, so I dug this out. I mean, this thing was buried in the back of the you know, of my supplies and all this stuff, this thing was almost completely forgotten. And it's kind of funny because at the time I had first thought about making a YouTube video about my Jennings Fork Lightning, there were no YouTube videos about it. I thought I was going to break new ground, but within that time frame of me first thinking about it, someone has actually posted some videos of themselves shooting their Fork Lightning. I haven't quite gotten to the point of where I'm going to be shooting this, but I hope to do so very soon. I was given some specifications on this, and I think I had mentioned the 30-inch draw length and the 6-pound peak weight on this. And this thing right now, it needs some rehabilitation before I actually set out to shoot it. The string is probably the original string on here, so you figure that that's probably 20 years old, so I'm not even going to try to fire it with this on there. So I need to change the string. I'll bring it a little closer. And take my glasses off once again because I need bifocals. I just didn't want to admit it, but I need bifocals. Okay, this was the arrow rest, and it was once very pliable, but it actually cracked recently, so I'm going to have to replace that. So between replacing the string and the arrow rest, I'm definitely going to have to do some work on this before I actually take it out and fire it. This is one of the old style sights on there. You can see the individual pins on there. No fiber optics on this guy just yet. And that is a Fredbear. You can see that. Okay, that is a Fredbear sight. And you can see the knock right here, the knocking point. That is just sliding up and down. That is totally shot. So I got a couple extra ones of those. And this is my old quiver, I guess you could say. Just slide it right on there and pop it. And now you're ready to go. And once again, this is another Fredbear item, Fredbear signature line. And let me just see if I can draw this back. Okay, there you go. So I can still draw it, but as I said, I'm not going to fire it. 65 pounds. And you can see the nice camouflage coloring on that. It says Jennings. And you have another point where you can mount accessories. I think dampeners, and I think they even offered a bow fishing tackle line with this, or bow fishing tackle equipment, but I never actually purchased it. That was something that I was somewhat interested in perhaps pursuing as well. And you can see the name there, Forked Lightning. And the cams. So yeah, this is my, like I said, so far my first and only compound bow. Matter of fact, it was the only longbow that I've ever actually owned. And until I really get into it some more and make a determination whether or not I'm going to continue to pursue that, I'll stick with this. As I said, this was a good introductory bow. I don't need anything any more powerful than this right now. See if I can get my archery chops back and just go from there. And I think I have some pictures of me back in the old days actually using this, training and learning how to do that. So I'll see if I can scrounge those up and add them to the video so that you can see what I look like back in the early 90s trying to fire this thing. Alright, thanks for watching, and let me know what you guys think about my ancient relic here. That's the Jennings Fork Lightning compound bow. And Let me know if you guys do any archery and what you guys think about that. It's definitely a survival option if you want to go with the using it as survival equipment. But the one thing I would suggest is to stock up on arrows and get arrow parts and learn how to assemble arrows. And my freaking neighbor's dog is barking his head off again, or her head off again, and she seems to always do this 2 and 3 times a night. During the middle of the daytime, she's quiet as a lamb. Let nighttime roll around and she just goes to barking her head off, and it's really annoying. But that's another story for another day. Alright, thanks for watching. And as I was saying, I keep saying this again, as far as survival options, get a lot of arrows. Try to find some inexpensive ones if you can. And like I said, stock up on them. I see that they have some actual neon or something, blinkers or something like that, that you can put on these so that you can find them a little more easily. And if you intend to use a bow for survival use, I would definitely recommend finding something that you can use to actually help you find the arrows a little better, because a bow is no better than the arrows that you are able to fire from it. Okay, so I guess for the 3rd or 4th time, thanks for watching. I can never thank you guys enough, but like I said, comments would be welcome. Alright, bye-bye.